Hello and welcome back to Richmore Cooper with a shooting review, and we haven't had one of those for a long time, so sit back, relax and enjoy it because it's going to be the Heckler & Koch USP. The Heckler & Koch USP from Umarex comes packaged in a cardboard box, and I have taken out the outer plastic wrapping. So there's the pistol, just eject the magazine. This would be so much easier if I had a tripod. There we have the pistol, and then we have a few bits and pieces in the box. So there's the manual, some BBs and the Allen key for the magazine screw there that keeps the CO2 in place. The pistol itself is extremely well finished, and unlike a lot of BB pistols that kind of have a painted look that scratches quite easily, this one has got a very realistic finish that looks like, looks like you would expect the real pistol to look. The lower of the pistol is polymer, and there's stippling on the pistol grip, which obviously means that if it's wet it's easier to hold on to, and there's a slight indentation for the thumb. We've got the USP markings on the pistol grip, and on the slide with the caliber we've got serial number and a warning about looking at the manual on the other side, and more H and K branding on the other side. So really nice looking pistol. Controls are fairly standard for an automatic pistol with a side stop and takedown lever. The safety catch, which is a safety catch and, I'm pleased to say, decocking lever. It's got a spring return on it. Now I would say that the safety could do with being a bit more positive. It does disconnect the trigger, and the sights are white dots, fairly high vis, and it's got a really good weight, especially when the magazine is loaded. The magazine is fairly standard fare, although it doesn't have the side cutouts as some of them do. It's very heavy. Not quite sure how many BBs it takes. What does it say on the box? 16 rounds. I dare say you could fit a few more in. Screw at the bottom for the CO2 cartridge, and when this is in the pistol it feels really heavyweight. It's certainly looks, from my collection, one of the best in terms of finish and realism. So this is the pistol, as you can see. Slide release, functions as you would expect. Safety catch, seems to disconnect the trigger from the mechanism, and now I would say the trigger is a bit naff really. It's alright. It's not anywhere near as nice and crisp as the Tanfoglios that I've tested recently, which I think have superb triggers. So this is average, it's adequate, it works. Hammer drop. Now here's the interesting thing, now it's cocked. Drop the hammer. To actually fire it, it doesn't need as much pressure as if you fire it double action. Let's try that again. Hammer drop, return to fire, So I'm not sure how that's helps really. Seems to return it to a half cock position. So how useful that's actually going to be in real life, I don't know. We'll see when we go and shoot it. So there's no BBs in this magazine, but there is a bit of gas in it, so I just want to show you the blowback operation. Obviously it locks the slide back. And what I want to do is I want to hold down the slide release so it doesn't lock back for a few shots. And this is when my dogs start to bark. And just fire a few blanks just so you can see it cycling. That's a pretty hefty blowback, and it locks back on the last slide. Now, I'm not a big fan of these magazine releases. I find them a little bit awkward. Perhaps it's because I'm not used to them. Personally, I prefer the button style. It's personal taste, I guess. The reason I don't like them is because when I'm shooting, and I've kind of got a grip that's a bit like that when I'm shooting, okay, because I'm right-handed and left-eyed, so I have to kind of move the pistol over to the left to get my sight picture. So when I'm in that position naturally, to reach the magazine release without changing my entire grip is not possible, so I guess I'd have to do something like that. I can't just thumb it, which I would normally do. I would have to kind of move my hand around to that position. I'm not sure how good that's going to be for quick reloads. Currently I only got one mag for this pistol, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to be buying some more for it. Controls are on the left side only, so they're not ambidextrous. I guess if you're a left-hander, that's bit of a negative point. Not for me personally. There's a rail underneath for attachments, although I've got a couple of lasers that won't fit because they require like a cutout, and I'm not really into dremeling bits of my pistol apart, so stuff like that will fit. Don't really like attachments on pistols anyway. The trigger guard, let's just get that back out. Trigger guard has got stippling on, so if you're using it in the wet and without gloves, then you get a good solid grip, and it does feel really good in the hand. Even though this is polymer, it's really solid. It's quite thin, but it's very, very rigid. Everything feels and looks absolutely superb in terms of quality. So field stripping, usual, just knock the slide back 1/4 of an inch, pull out the slide release lever, slide the lower frame off, comes away clean, and then we've got the inner mechanism, and you can lift the guide rod out, can you? There we go. And then the barrel assembly comes away. For cleaning, or I guess if for training purposes, I guess some people might use this for training purposes, not in the UK though. And fairly straightforward putting the whole thing back together. And there we go. So off to the impromptu shooting range to do a little bit of target practice and see how it actually performs shooting. I'm going to pop some more CO2 and BBs in the mag. So the first step is to unscrew the base nut and then drop a new CO2 cartridge in. The pistol takes a standard 12 gram CO2s, and 4.5mm BBs. Hex screw is supplied. I had a bit of trouble getting that screw back in. It's quite awkward actually. Anyway, might be just me. Out of practice. So loading the mag with BB is fairly straightforward. Pull the magazine follower all the way to the rear, then drop the BBs in one at a time until you've got as many in the mag as you like. I think that's 15 or 16 in there. Not quite sure, I did lose count, but I don't think you'd want to put too many more in there, otherwise you might have them jamming. Top tips if you're going to be shooting your air pistol or air rifle in the back garden: make sure that you've got an adequate backstop, make sure that you've got something that will prevent ricochets, because you do not want them coming back at you, or especially into your neighbour's garden. Safety first, ladies and gentlemen, and always, always, always wear eye protection. Right, don't know if this is going to come out or not because I've got a head mounted camera. If it looks rubbish, I'm going to have to film it again. Okay, so we are shooting at, I don't know, what's that, 6 foot, 3 foot, 6 foot, 15 foot, for about 20 feet ish. Rested to start off with, 15 rounds. This is for accuracy. Okay, I didn't expect that to happen. Slide just flew forward as I put the mag in. Alright, see how we go. "13 rounds as it happens." Slide lock back on the last one, that's promising. Let's go and have a look at the target. Okay, so my point of aim was about here, and they're slightly to the left. So I'll have another go. This time I'm going to go for point of aim about there and slightly. I change my grip slightly because it's my grip that's probably making the stuff go off to the left. But we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So one has obviously just dropped off the bottom. We'll try again. Slightly different point of aim. I think that's the last one, but it didn't lock back. There we go. Okie dokie, so that's definitely brought things back up kind of where they need to be. Groupings look reasonably good actually for a BB pistol. Still shooting a bit to the left, and I'd say that's almost certainly due to there's something wrong with my grip, so I'll just need to work on that to make sure that it's going where I'm pointing the pistol. So quite pleased with that. We'll put a new target on and use up the rest of the gas and see how many shots we get before we need to replace the CO2. So do some rapid shooting now. Not much gas left, I don't think. We'll see. There goes the target. That's definitely empty, but there's not enough gas, I think, for the lockback. Righto, we're going to go for full mag, fullish mag, fresh gas, 10 feet, rapid fire. Here we go. And again, that didn't feed properly. So it might just need a bit of lube because it feels a little bit sticky. I don't think it's anything wrong with the actual mechanism itself. And that's not really aiming, just pulling the trigger fairly quick. So grouping's fairly consistent, I'd say. Look at the targets now, and this is the first target. This was when I was at rest from about 20 feet, 22 feet, something like that. The first grouping is this lower part there, and then I changed my point of aim from here to here, and you can see that this is my group here. Then I moved in for some rapid fire shooting, and again I'm putting this down to my grip probably, or the way I'm pulling the trigger, that they seem to be going a little bit to the left. Obviously I'm only at 10 feet, so they are grouping a lot tighter and towards the centre, but you know, that's a nice group for rapid fire. I'm not really aiming, just pointing in the general direction of the target. So yeah, quite pleased with those. I think they're fairly on par with the other CO2 BB pistols I've got. So in conclusion, I'd say I'm fairly happy with this purchase. It's a very, very nice replica. The finish is absolutely fantastic and it shoots really well, although there are a few little gripes. Safety and hammer drop, do we need both? I don't know whether we do. There's a little bit of trouble with malfunctioning on the lock back, and I think that I'm putting that down to the fact that the pistol probably hasn't been lubricated. I need to search out my silicone lube because it's a polymer frame pistol with a metal slide, so I don't want to use WD-40 or 3-in-1 or anything like that because it might knacker up the plastic. So I'll watch this space. Probably going to do another little mini review after I've had a chance to clean it all up and apply some silicone lubricant, and then we'll see what the performance is like. Obviously bear in mind it's quite a cold but sunny day. That's the end anyway, so I hope you enjoyed this long awaited shooting video. Please like, subscribe, share and comment, because I need to get up to those 1,000 magic subs so I can start monetizing my channel again. Thank you YouTube for taking away the meagre income I was earning. Safe shooting everybody. Remember, have fun but shoot safe. Take care.